Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is David. If you have not seen me or hear me before, basically I just share what I've learned about AWS and running the resources on the cloud. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you how to patch a Windows OS using AWS Patch Manager. And basically we are running this Windows in AWS EC2 instance. So in this diagram, you can see here we have this System Manager that is having this run command. And basically we have this EC2 instance here, and if you run the quick setup offered by AWS, you have a string of resources and IAM roles that you see from here, and also a Lambda function. And most importantly, you have to ensure that the instance profile, let me zoom in, the instance profile under the EC2 instance has the necessary IAM policy to access S3 bucket. Because what Patch Manager requires is basically it will dump all the errors or all the results into these S3 buckets. Okay, so if you're excited, let's move on. I basically have, okay, so in order to make this Patch Manager works in this demo, I need to uninstall 1 KB. So I'm not sure if you can see this. Let's see. So we have this 5519. Let me see what I have. So I'm gonna uninstall this. Okay, USA uninstall. Okay, so if you don't know what is USA, neither do I. Basically, you just run the USA and it will pop up the pop-up box for you to uninstall. So we're gonna uninstall this, and we need the KB and let it prompt. Okay, so basically let's run USA uninstall. We're gonna run KB and it will pop up this. Okay, so this one can't be uninstalled. Let's do the basic one. Okay, while this is going on, I need to make sure the instance profile has permission to access the S3 bucket. Okay, so the instance profile is using EC2 session manager role. Let's go in, let's click this, let's see what we have. So I'm just gonna add permission. For this demonstration, I'm just gonna give it a full access. Okay, good. So right now, while this is installing, let's set up the Patch Manager. Okay, so we do a quick setup and we're looking at this. Gonna click create. We're gonna do a scan first. Gonna give it a, I already created an S3 bucket, so I'm gonna select the instance. Then I'm gonna keep everything as default. Then I'm gonna use the name of the S3 bucket as the policy. Okay, so what this will do is it will trigger a cloud formation, and it also will create a Lambda function. Okay, so right now it requires me to restart, but I just want to make sure. So what I do is I uninstall this, so it shouldn't appear if I run this command again. Okay, let me check. Okay, so if anybody out there who understands why after I uninstall this, it will automatically install this in the instance, you do let me know. Okay, so now I'm gonna create, acknowledge, and let's wait. While waiting, let me refresh the cloud formation. So it does. So what it does is it will create a slew of rows, just like what I've shown you here. So the CloudFormation will create all these rows, and also will create a Lambda function which will also create these 2 rows. And it also creates 2 S3 bucket. One of it is it will push this baseline underscore override.json into this S3 bucket, and the instance will try to pull it. And if you're listening to this and if you understand what's going on, please let me know, because these are the errors that I might have and I don't understand at this moment. What is it? I'll show you later. So basically we'll create the S3 bucket. It's not yet created the Lambda function. Okay, so what we have is one fail. So we need to know what's going on with the fail. We can look at the run command. We can look at the command history, and we saw one failed. Now it's 11:29. So you can see what's going on. Okay, you see, it says the specified bucket does not exist. So what bucket is it looking for? It's looking for this bucket. Okay, but it exists. But because this bucket has a permission resource-based policy, like has this tag, and that's why we have this error. But if I look at the instance profile, it should create additional IAM policy, okay, and it should create a tag like this that matches the resource-based policy, so of the S3 bucket. So I don't understand why I will encounter this error. So if you know what's going on, do share, because I'm gonna show you where all these errors coming out from. You can actually go here to the C drive, then after that there's a hidden folder called program data. Then inside this program data they have this folder called Amazon. Then we're looking at patch baseline operation, then we look at the logs, and this is where the error come from. So the specified bucket does not exist, and it is triggered by SSM agent. So we can look at this. Look at the time, 11:32. Let's do a word wrap on this. Okay, so the system couldn't find the path. Don't understand. Gonna close this. Let's look at the agent. Document status fail. Okay, so what we have is an error. However, it's pretty interesting because once I rerun this, it will work. So we have one fail, but if I rerun this, it will work, because apparently there's a latency when it comes to getting into the bucket and waiting for the bucket to be created. And we wait. Okay, now it's successful. Interesting, huh? So I'm not sure what's going on, but let's look at the output. So clearly we have this S3 bucket already, and it's able to pull, and we don't have any missing count. So let's go into detail and see whether we can find the KB that I've uninstalled. Okay, not this. Let's click open and see what we got. So there's no missing count. Interesting. Let me find this. It's under installed, but it's unspecified. Okay, so I'm gonna restart this, and we're gonna rescan this and see whether it's able to find the missing KB. And we're back. So I missed out showing you this. So there's a Lambda function being created right now, and let's go in. Let's see what we got. Okay, clearly the KB is not there anymore, so I'm gonna rerun the patch manager. So previously I was doing scan only, so we have only one run command. If I do scan and install, there will be two run command. So we can use we don't make any changes, just use the same and run. So what I mean, okay, so now is 7:41, so we should have 2 run command. Okay, 41, so we only have 1. Okay, so we still have 1 fail and 2 pending. So basically it's the install one comes first, the scan one comes second. 11:34, so it's not this one. Interesting that it runs the install patch. Okay, let's see whether it's looking for this. Okay, it does. So it shows that you found out that this 55519 was not installed. So basically it downloads and it's completed and it's creating the update installer. Okay, so what we have is when I run the scan and install, instead of running scan and install again, it only runs the install patch. That's why we have this pending. Okay, and we know that it's gonna reinstall back this 55519 because let me run get Windows update log. Let me try looking at what we have here. Okay, let's end this. I don't understand this. So every KB has this ID. I can't tell what is it at the moment, but let's scroll down and see what we have. I want to show you something interesting. Okay, never mind. I thought I saw something WSUS. Let's go to the last line. Let's go to the last line. So currently it's installing a patch. Yeah. Okay. I remember there's a, let me retrace. Let me show you. Even though you never install WSUS, right, but it's still looking for it as the second choice if let's say the URL for Windows catalog doesn't pop up. Let's see, it does. So basically it will first try to see whether it can access the KB via the internet, then after that it will just try to see whether you've installed WSUS server. Okay, and now we wait for the KB to be installed. Finish. Let me refresh this. Let me run another program just to make sure that it's pending installation. And now we wait. And we are back. So what we have here is this 5519 KB is already installed, and I'm gonna run this command to show you I'm gonna run this command to show you what is going on behind the scene in the Windows OS. So let's see whether the 5119 was successfully changed. Okay, so this is where I have uninstalled 55519, and this is where I've installed back, I mean not I've is the Patch Manager installed back the 55519, and it shows that a reboot is necessary. So we need to reboot. I'll be back. And we're back. So right now the instance has rebooted. Let's go in and see what we have. So the results on the Patch Manager, it shows that 7 success and 1 failed. But we could just redo it, else we can just go in and see whether the KB has been patched. But it shows that it has been patched. Interesting. Okay, so if you don't like the inconvenience of using Fleet Manager to access your instance, you can actually, like looking at a Windows event, you can actually go to your Fleet Manager, click on the instance that you want, and basically it gives you a console version of your Windows event log. And if you understand the event ID, you can actually just key in the ID that you want, and you can take a look at what's going on behind the scene without even using SSM to go in. Okay, so I hope you understand how to use AWS Patch Manager to patch your instance, and in my next video I'll show you the hard way to basically patch your Windows instance. Like I said, if you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments below and I'll try my best to get back to you. Bye.